welcome to episode 81 of the Character Unlock podcast. I am hosting this week, Brooker, and as always, joining me, as always, for the first time in like 3-4 weeks, because we missed a week. I suppose it's still always. As always, joining me is my good buddy John. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I haven't always been doing this because there was that one time when I didn't do it. It wasn't even that long ago. You had to get someone in to help.
Pretty sure you've missed an episode.
You've missed the 2 episodes.
I've missed 2 episodes. It's not bad going.
And as a whole, we've just missed episodes as well. So
I think we've only missed 2 actual whole episodes.
True. So, probably.
I'm okay with that. Anyways, mate, how are you doing? You right?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm honestly surprised I'm not ill. Is the answer.
You and me both. Actually, no, I am ill. Still, kind of. But yeah.
Ooh.
So, what have you been up to the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks?
So at one point I was in Yorkshire looking after a dog for my mum to go on holiday. My Stadia is on its way. I got the text message from DHL saying they're coming to deliver it tomorrow. So with a bit of luck, I will be playing it at some point in the near future. What else? I sent back 2 games to Boomerang, having not played either of them.
Nice.
And have received another 2 games, which I probably again won't play.
What'd you get?
I think I've got the latest cricket game. Yay. And
do you just add these on out of a fear of necessity?
Yes, pretty much.
I need to have something in my queue.
I literally just... I'll be honest, I like cricket.
Why?
I was one of the sports I was raised on.
Okay.
So I kind of like cricket, and I like to give the cricket games a go and a bash every so often because they seem like fun, and they can be sometimes. And I'm also renting something else, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
Fair enough.
It's been a long time since I added it to my fucking list. That's the problem. Neither of them have been opened out of the packaging yet.
Nice.
That's how confident I am at playing them anytime soon. So I will open this one and hope that it's not the cricket game.
Well,
no, that one was the cricket game.
It's like live unboxing.
So now I have to do a shit live unboxing of another game. Where's the fucking perforations? I hate it when perforations don't perforate.
Like on cheap toilet paper.
Grid is the other game that I've got.
Alright.
So
seems
that
like the
makes
kind of
sense.
game you would put on and want to play.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that I completely forgot what it was because it's been out for a little while.
Yeah.
And it's taken that long for it to arrive because I've had Control and, yes, another game that I had no intention of playing anytime soon. Well, that's a lie. I had every intention of playing Control.
Yeah.
I honestly just never really got around to putting it on because of other things like Call of Duty coming out and and being somewhat addicted to FIFA and being away and Football Manager and I think I probably played Gears a lot longer than I probably should have done considering what I usually feel about Gears.
But you enjoyed it, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy the games that I played. So
I don't think you can spend too long playing a game if you're enjoying your time with it.
Yeah, okay. I take your point. I did enjoy playing Gears, which is something strange to me and completely alien because I've played all except for Judgment and 4.
Yeah.
Story modes.
You don't need to play Judgment.
No one ever needs to play Judgment. So I played the story mode of 1, 2, 3. I've played the multiplayer on 4. And I've also played the multiplayer on the remaster of at least 1, whatever it was fucking called. But 5 was the only Gears game where I actually felt like I should probably continue and finish the story to. Yeah. Because I really enjoyed it. But at the same time, once again, I'm going to reiterate the point to anyone who knows or doesn't know, rather. For me, as an Xbox fanboy, I don't like Halo and I don't like Gears of War, which is completely nonsensical.
Yeah.
In fact, the majority of my favourite exclusives across both platforms are all on PlayStation.
Yeah, why not?
I can't think of a single exclusive on Xbox that I actually really fucking love. I would have said Mass Effect, but that stopped being an exclusive.
After the first one.
Yeah, and even then, the first one isn't was essentially just a port was ported eventually,
Yeah.
and I finished it on the PlayStation as well. I think I can't remember if I platinumed that one or not. I might have done. No, it takes multiple playthroughs. I don't know if I did multiple playthroughs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought Mass Effect so many times on multiple consoles. I even have it on my PC.
Have you played it on your PC yet?
No, not yet. But I own them.
Well,
It's,
it's half the battle, I suppose.
yeah, so I've got Origin on my PC
Yeah.
because reasons.
Yeah,
I have Origin for the sole purpose of Mass Effect.
why not?
I suppose that's a better reason than the reason to why I've got the Epic Games Store launcher.
Well, which is for Untitled Goose Game.
Exactly, and that's it. Although, aren't a lot of games coming around with like exclusivity to the Epic Games Store?
Yeah, there's a few coming that are pissing a lot of people off, apparently. uh, I couldn't tell you which ones off the top of my head. I know there are a
I
few.
I couldn't care less
No.
about the fucking launcher that I have to play games. It's not like the launcher costs money. It's not like each of these fucking launchers and services is a subscription-based thing,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it is for all of the fucking things that I need to watch, like 3 TV shows that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Am I fucked if I'm paying a fortune for Disney Plus when it comes around just so I can watch The Mandalorian?
Yep.
Because The Mandalorian is the only thing I'm interested in. I'm not interested in any of the Marvel TV shows.
Nah.
I really couldn't care about any of the Marvel planned TV shows. Even the one for um, Captain Falcon and the Winter Falcon.
Oh, but
I just,
it's got like actual Falcon and Winter Soldier in it. It could be good.
yeah, it could be good, but I honestly, I don't feel like it's any even remotely necessary.
But none of this shit's necessary.
No, they could have easily had themselves a film.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping for, to be fair.
It's just, I mean, I'm a little surprised that the Black Widow one wasn't a TV show.
Yeah, you and me both. That would have made a good TV show.
That was screaming to be turned into a TV show. Scarlett Johansson's not so um, up her own ass that she wouldn't have done a TV show. She seems really down to earth, and I really liked her episode of Hot Ones.
Ah, okay. I'll say I don't think I've seen her in anything, uh, like
But
interviews or anything like
everyone
that.
on
So,
Hot Ones is awesome.
well, yeah,
I've not seen an episode of Hot Ones where I don't end up falling in love with the person who is being interviewed.
but having your mouth be on fire while you're being interviewed is kind of a good leveler for people.
Yeah, so it was. But to be fair, she said that Eight-Legged Freaks was her most underrated movie.
Fair enough. I've heard worse.
If you can hear my chair creaking like so much, it's because it's fucking awful right now.
I can. I can
It's
hear it.
brilliant. It's not me dropping a log constantly, guys. It's literally the chair creaking. I need to move the feet around so it stops doing it.
I'll get a new chair.
It's not actually that old.
That makes it even worse.
Yeah. It's because it's one of those shitty gaming chairs.
Yeah.
Because it was cheap. It was literally the cheapest option I could get when I broke my last chair that
Yeah.
I'd had for like, Jesus Christ. I actually had that because I liberated it from my original IT apprenticeship.
Nice.
So it's pre-Walton days. That's
Nice.
how long I've had that chair. Because they were doing an office refurb after my go around of the
Yeah.
apprenticeship. So I was like, well, can I keep my chair? And they said, fuck it, we're just going to trash them anyway.
Yeah.
So I just walked off with it, took it on the bus.
Nice.
It took me 3 attempts to take it on a bus because all the bus drivers said no. And then one just sort of just like waved me on, was like, yeah, fuck it, go on.
Nice.
So, yeah, I had that chair for almost 10 years, possibly actually 10 years. No, almost 10 years. Yeah. and then I broke the arm when I stood up once because I pushed the arms as I was standing up, and literally it popped it out of the socket. And because it was screwed in, it just completely dethreaded the socket, and I also fell flat on my face.
There's an image.
Well, just try and imagine standing up, putting all of your weight onto something to try and push yourself up in the air, and then that just deciding, no, I can't, I'm not doing this anymore.
I desperately wish you'd videoed it just so I could see
Well,
it.
if I was a streamer, I probably would have changed the chair anyway at some point before I'd broken it, just
Yeah,
because you need to spend that money on something as a streamer.
yeah.
Fuck it, fuck you, chair.
You
Brooks, what
just
have you been doing with your life?
uh, I've been chilling out. So the reason we didn't record a couple of weeks ago because I was actually in Barcelona for work.
Nice.
Yeah, I was at a vendor conference, which was just as fucking boring as it sounds.
No, I've done vendor conferences before. They aren't that bad.
Uh, the VMware one was pretty fucking boring.
I was going to say the vendor conferences that I've done have not been massive nerd fests, however.
Yeah, the problem was I got this fucking nerd flu. I managed to get through EGX without getting ill, and I went to this poxy thing, and then got really fucking ill, and I was on my ass for 3 days. Absolutely brutal.
Do you know why you didn't get ill at EGX?
Why?
Because all of the stuff that you were breathing in was actually just toxic fumes from London and the
Yeah,
River Thames, not other people's germs.
I
Because
grew up with that,
all of the
so my body's tempered against it.
all of the germs died the second they left their body because
Yeah,
they were trying to compete with London air.
I'm okay with that.
It's like you got nerd flu when you went to Birmingham because it was all clean.
There's
Because it
nothing
was
clean in Birmingham.
it's right next to an airport, in fact.
Uh, yeah, so that was the week we were supposed to be recording. That was me in Barcelona, babysitting a workmate, which was fun.
Yeah,
Uh,
Barcelona and McDonald's.
just don't.
Uh, and I'd just come back from a week away where I'd done nothing but play Call of Duty Mobile.
Yeah. Uh, yeah,
And there was no news.
no, there was nothing to talk about. There was, I mean, it was all right. The Barcelona thing. So they had fucking Bear Grylls turn up during the keynote, which was weird.
Isn't Bear Grylls then at that point talking to people who aren't necessarily his target audience?
Very much so. Well, no, because actually, Bear Grylls' main target audience are dickheads who dream of being SAS people and pretend to be SAS people and would never have made SAS selection in a million fucking years.
Oh, right, yeah, because they're all Call of Duty players.
So, but to be fair, like, I've got almost no time for Bear Grylls. I don't find the man interesting. Well, no, I don't find him interesting. I don't watch his TV. I don't do any of that. It's just not something that comes across my radar. But I do like listening to ex-soldiers and their stories, and I do like listening to ex-SF soldiers and their stories of selection because I find them really interesting. So he was telling some stories about selection I actually thought was really good. The problem was the then vice president of VMware or something, she came up on stage and started talking to him, and she started trying to compare like his stories of surviving climbing Everest, to trying to survive in the technology industry. And I was like, oh, you have got to fuck off. You have just got to shut up. This is even he's looking at it going, I ain't getting paid enough for this shit. The fuck are you talking about? And mate, this place, not my audience at all. Like, my sense of humour was completely wasted. I, I felt all alone.
No, your sense of humor would be completely wasted because you weren't our mutual friend and your colleague and his sense of humor.
But see, even he didn't laugh. Like the opening day, there was this big thing, this massive PowerPoint presentation, and the guy that owned, the CEO of VMware doing all this talking. He's going, But we know that, engineers want to still be able to work on their things and mess around with them. So we've got this collection of knobs for you. And mate, I was on the fucking floor. I was just crying. You can't tell me you have a collection of knobs and expect me not to laugh. And then he goes, and you can touch all of them. I'm crying at this point. No one else.
Why was nobody laughing at being able to touch this man's knob?
No one else was having a reaction. I'm looking around going, how the fuck am I the only person laughing at this dude that's standing on stage going, here's some knobs you can touch. I was like, for fuck's sake. I was gutted.
You're the man laughing at Homo erectus in Ross's speech.
I am, absolutely. Yeah, apart from that, I've not been up to much. Same shit, different day. Played a few games. Not much else.
No, we both played some games. I mean, it helped that Call of Duty happened in the last couple of weeks. And for me, it definitely helped with Jedi Fallen Order, which is, once I finish it, possibly going to be up on high on my list of Game of the Year.
Nice. Well, should we just jump straight in and start talking about what we've been playing then, mate?
I think we should.
You start then, buddy. What's
Okay, so I've played a fair amount of the Call of Duty multiplayer, and I say multiplayer because I'm only like 6 missions into the campaign.
But there's only like 7 missions.
Okay. I don't even know how far into the fucking campaign is. I think I mentioned to you, I said I've literally just like done the mission where you get to have the EMP-RC planes.
Yeah, you're not far from the end.
I'm not far from the end, but I'm also not far from the beginning, and not far enough into the game to really know whether or not I like the campaign or not. I don't know if I've met half of the characters, or if I really know what they're going to fucking try and do, or just anything about the story. But I can say that I have really enjoyed the shooting mechanics.
Okay.
The guns feel like they've got weight to them again, rather than what we've been seeing the last couple of years for most shooters. The guns actually feel responsive. Not every gun feels the same. Honestly feels like you can pick up any gun you want. It feels different to the last one you were just using, but you still feel a little bit powerful. There is the current meta of people running around with the M4 and their secondary weapons is the 7.25 shotgun, which is fucking ridiculous. That thing is just unreal.
Okay. This is why I don't play multiplayer on Call of Duty.
Well, if you've picked up the 7.25 shotgun in the campaign, it's honestly because I've used it twice in the campaign, and the range on the fucking shotgun. It's a double barrel shotgun, and the range on it is ridiculous. You can kill a man from fucking what is normally considered the confetti range of a shotgun.
Okay.
The number of times I've been killed by someone running around with a 7.25 shotgun when I've been struggling to shoot them with the M4, or at the moment I'm using the M13 because it feels a bit more powerful. But I think I've just unlocked the AK-47. I'm at the top end of the leveling because the game has, in the multiplayer, it's 155 ranks.
Okay.
Total. I don't know if there's going to be more after that or anything like that, but I've seen a lot of people with 155 rank. But once you hit level 55, you then move into officer, and in order to rank up, you have to complete challenges. So it does. 155 isn't as easy as it sounds. You have to complete specific challenges to move up ranks at that point.
Okay. So
you have to do things as opposed to just playing the game and earning XP to get yourself past 55. There is a bit of effort involved, which probably helps the fact that they've got no what was it called before? Prestige anymore.
But isn't the prestige still there? It's just called something different.
I can't remember. I've not seen anyone who's decided to prestige and like lose all of their content and have a different emblem to what everyone else does. I've seen a lot of people at 155 with the 5 stars emblem.
Okay. I
I've not seen anyone look weird or different to anyone else. So I don't know if the prestige thing is actually there still, or called anything different. I've not got far enough into multiplayer to really care.
well
If I'm
no,
honest,
this is
I'm like a 53 rank or something. So I've still got 2 more ranks to go before I hit 55, and then can tell you more.
fair enough.
Otherwise, I'm enjoying the multiplayer. Ground War's quite fun. Big open maps. It's wears a bit thin when you're playing because every time you finish a match rather, it loads you into another lobby completely, so you don't play with the same people at all. So there
Okay,
isn't really a map rotation as such. It's you could play the same map 7 times in a row if you're really unlucky.
well, that's not good.
Well, you could play the same map on infinite if you're really unlucky because there's no rotation. Like I said, it's you could end up playing because I ended up playing Quarry 5 times in a row at one point.
Yeah,
It was a little infuriating because I really don't like Quarry, and I really, really don't like Quarry now.
I say
I've
five
played,
times in a row in a big game. No, no one likes maps after that.
yeah,
That's how
but
people
there's
got sick of fucking Metro.
but there's only 3 Ground War maps. What was really fucking annoying was that I played Quarry 5 times in a row the day that they released the third Ground War map because there was only 2 to start with. There's the Quarry, the one in the city, the district, and the one in the farmlands. Funnily enough, I discovered randomly when I was just wandering around that all 3 maps are actually next to each other. You can see the other maps from each other.
Oh,
The
okay,
quarry is next to the city and next to the farmland.
that's quite cool.
It's all in the uh, Verdansk
Yeah,
area from the single player, I think.
okay,
And the at least one of the Spec Ops missions is also in Verdansk and is set just away from the all of them because there's a what is a giant stadium,
yeah,
and I was doing a Spec Ops mission where the final part of the mission is at the stadium, which is next to both the quarry, the farm, and the town, obviously,
yeah.
because it's all in Verdansk. So, but yeah, it's quite cool that they've just got one massive map essentially, all next to each other. And I'm guessing at some point in development, they probably thought, I don't know, we'll have big open world thing and people have matches in these areas, but at the same time, we'll still have the stuff happening in, and you'll be able to see the other games going on in those other areas. But
Yeah.
then realize that's way too much effort
Yes.
because that's the kind of thing that developers want to do. They want to make it so that everything can be done all at once and then get reined back in again by the publisher saying, yeah, that's all great, but we need to get it released at some point this year, not next millennium. So that's me. Played a lot of Call of Duty.
Cool. Well, I played the Call of Duty campaign,
Yay, you!
and that's pretty much all I played. And with, and ironically, it took longer to download and install all of Call of Duty than it did to actually finish the campaign.
Actually, really amused me when you were sending me text messages about you fucking downloading the story, especially when I replied back with, "Yeah, you need to download more Spec Ops stuff
Yep, that
because it
annoyed
does
me.
because it doesn't actually download it, and you try and fire up the Spec Ops multiplayer, and it says you need more content.
Yep,
Why didn't you fucking download it to start with?
yep.
Why did you separate this fucking download?
So I really enjoyed the Call of Duty campaign. It is obviously it's modern warfare. We all know modern warfare. Uh, yeah, generic terrorists need to be beaten by generic Americans and generic British people and just generic soldiers plus a slightly rebooted Captain Price. I like slightly rebooted Captain Price.
Who voices slightly rebooted Captain
I do
Price?
not know.
Oh,
Uh, I watched like a making of thing, and he just kind of auditioned for random soldier bloke, and it was really cool watching him do the thing. Because obviously they videoed the whole thing, and then they gave him another script, and you could see his face when he like read out who he's playing. He was like, "Oh shit," because those are some pretty big boots to fill.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're filling in the role of 3-game Billy Murray.
But it's not just that, it's in shooters. People don't, characters don't get famous in first-person shooters, but Captain Price does and did and is famous. Uh,
That's because he cried when Soap died.
Everybody cried when Soap died,
Soap.
but yeah,
Nobody cried when
I
Gaz
mean, but
died.
it's modern warfare, so it's generic terrorists versus generic soldiers, yay political intrigue and so I liked it. It's a fun. It took I think 6 hours, more or less, for me to finish it. I don't think I got stuck on any of it. I don't think. Just a standard normal playthrough. Obviously a couple of bits where I died. I didn't. Oh, I don't think I had any really badly frustrating bits. I don't remember.
Oh, I did. Coincidentally, it was the RC planes bit. So running through that airfield, I got really fucking annoyingly stuck in where the porta cabins are.
Oh
Because
yeah,
I had a save point that was right in front of two guys throwing a grenade at me.
nice. Yeah, I mean the Call of Duty tropes are there. So dodgy dodgy checkpointing and shit like that will drive you up the wall. I don't think I did too bad. I you know I did respectably. I've had 3 or 4 games on the multiplayer. I didn't really enjoy it, so I've not gone back. But story-wise, I would absolutely recommend Call of Duty, and I don't want to talk to anybody about Call of Duty until they finished it, because holy fucking shit, it is worth seeing through to the end.
Okay, I get your point. Fucking hell. You don't have to lay it on so fucking thick.
But genuinely, like I was really enjoy. I get into Call of Duty. I really, I'm quite happy to just chug along for 5 to 6 hours, just enjoy the story, just get into it, and then be done with it. Uh, I was in that same kind of mood when I got to the end of Call of Duty, and then the final cutscene kicked in, and I wanted to cheer and jump and scream and hug people. I was so happy when I got to the end of that. It was awesome. So, considering how much I paid for it, and I've only played it for like 8 hours total,
And you could have rented it.
yeah, it's still worth the money I paid just to see it through to the end.
Nice.
And I'm a big fan of how they introduced Captain Price as well. Like his introduction cutscene, I thought was fucking brilliant. It was just absolutely badass. But yeah, fake, fictional Middle Eastern / Russian people, and yeah, it's modern warfare. You know what you're getting. If you pick up a modern warfare game, you know exactly what you're getting. I don't think there's anything. Oh no, there's a couple of quite harrowing bits in it. There are a couple of quite harrowing bits in it, but yeah, it's Call of Duty. I liked it. Once you've finished it, you and I will talk.
You might be waiting a little while because my other game kind of has to take a bit of precedent over it.
Fair enough. So what's your next game on your list then, mate?
So I also have played, or rather am playing, so I can't really go into too much about this, but the game that is currently doing the rounds that everyone seems to know and love, which is
Death Stranding.
Yes. How did you know? With my complete love of PlayStation and the fact that I still own a PlayStation.
Well, it's what all the kids are playing.
So I have been playing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And it's Respawn's latest title, so it's got all of those little Respawn wall running tropes to it, which is quite cool. And a surprisingly interesting cast.
Okay.
And the new little robot, which is kind of cool and cute. I've met it, technically.
Cool.
Um, but as a whole, it plays well. It's a little clunky, but this is Respawn's first real attempt at doing a melee combat game instead of a shooter.
So this is the thing that we saw at E3, where you can spin your lightsaber and fire laser rounds back at the people that fired them. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess for lack of a better term, you can deflect blaster bolts back at people.
Okay. So how well does it work?
So it works really well. So depending on which form of lightsaber you've got, because you can have both. You have a single blade lightsaber to start with that
Okay.
you just sort of have as being a Jedi, but it turns out that it's actually broken. So it's supposed to be a dual blade lightsaber,
Okay.
kind of Darth Maul-esque dual blade lightsaber.
Yeah.
And a bit into the story, you can attach a second hilt to yours, depending on, and the hilt depends on which planet you go to pick it up, because you can pick it up from two different planets. It's quicker to get it off of one, but that planet is also much, much more difficult to get through because it's supposed to be set about halfway through the story as opposed to right at the start. But you can still go there early enough and pick up that extra piece of that second half of your lightsaber. Or you can follow the story and find it organically. And once you've got the dual bladed lightsaber, you can always choose between the two of
Okay.
having single blade or dual blade. So the single blade does more damage and is much better for one-on-one combat,
Yeah.
but the dual blade is quicker, does slightly less damage, but you can hit more frequently and is much better at crowd control. And at the same time, it's much better at deflecting blaster fire. So, which is really useful when you go up against a stormtrooper carrying essentially a minigun in laser form. That motherfucker will fire those things for quite a while until it overheats because lasers.
Cool.
You can deflect all of them back at him, or just stand there spinning it and deflect all of them just in random directions. So it depends. It's essentially a parry system. So if you can return the laser fire at the right time, you'll deflect it back at him, or you'll just stand there spinning and it'll just deflect all the blasters bolts into just all kinds of directions.
Nice.
It's not a game without its faults. Obviously, it's Respawn's first attempt at a melee combat game, so there is a bit of, I can't really say input lag, but there is an animation lag between you pressing the button to do what it is that you want and you actually doing the thing that you want, which is causing minor havoc for people playing on the higher difficulties
Yeah.
because the parry window shrinks. And it's actually really cool when you set the difficulty up where it says it's got three different sliders
Yeah.
of damage you deal, damage you take, and like the block window or the parry window.
Yeah.
And in story difficulty, your damage and your parry window are full, and the damage you take is like practically empty. And then the higher the difficulty, the closer to the reverse you get. But on like the hardest difficulty, the damage you deal is fucking almost none. The damage you take is full, and your parry window is fucking empty as well. So you literally have almost no time to do a parry compared to just a standard block.
Okay.
So it's like you press it at this point, it's a standard block. You press it at this half a second, it's a parry. You press it too late, you get hit and probably die. Versus my difficulty, which I'm playing on, which is that you see them swinging and your parry is pretty much a good second to 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing on story mode, your parry window is like you just block and it automatically parries at all times, regardless of how long you've been holding down the block for. But I've done a couple of planets, and as from when I text you and Lee, and I said that Kashyyyk is a cunt because they're a giant spider cunts,
Okay.
and you got confused by what Kashyyyk is because 3 Ys.
But I got confused. I didn't get confused because of the three Ys. I got confused because I didn't know what it was, and I thought it was stupid that it had three Ys.
Yeah, Kashyyyk is the Wookiee planet and has giant spiders, giant slugs, giant flies, plants that attack you.
Okay.
It's essentially the kind of planet you'd expect for someone who looks like Chewbacca to live on, because that's the Wookiees are the apex predator,
Yeah.
technically, to that planet, and considering what they are and are like, you'd expect them to have a planet of things that are basically Australia on speed. Because Kashyyyk is essentially everything wants to kill you, but it's also massive. So giant insects and giant arachnids and giant Venus flytraps that will eat you, but you can use them to your advantage and run over them with things chasing you, and it will eat that instead.
Nice.
And a giant bird that you can fly because it you pull a giant piece of metal out of its wing after it crashes into a ship. So you pull that out of its wing, give it a stim, and then lets you ride it for a bit. So,
Okay.
so there's that. But then after discovering that, I then went to Dathomir, which is the home planet of Darth Maul, and discovered that the spiders aren't as bad as I once thought, because everything on Dathomir is an even more of a cunt.
Nice.
Literally everything on Dathomir is more of a cunt than those spiders. Because not long after I told you that those spiders were cunts, I worked out that you can actually kill them really easily, because if you parry, they get an X over them, classic God of War style, to immediately kill them.
Excellent.
So you just literally parry them, even at full health, you jump on their back and shove your lightsaber straight through their spine. Well, spider back, and they die.
Fun.
Yeah, but that's Kashyyyk versus Dathomir. In Dathomir, everything is a cunt. All enemies on Dathomir are cunts. 100% of them.
Okay. I mean, I'll take your word for it.
I still haven't finished that planet yet. I'm mostly done, but I got to a point last night and it was like it just hit 11 o'clock, and I was just thinking, I don't know how much longer I've got left on to do on this planet. I've been on it for like 4 hours now. I'm gonna go to fucking bed. Because I thought, oh, Dathomir, that'll be quick. I'll do that and then go to bed. Fucking 11 o'clock rolls around and I have no idea how far along I am. I've killed the midway boss on that planet.
Yeah.
It This game, it's proper God of War, dungeon crawler, Legend of Zelda, Darksiders style. You get so far into the planet, kill the midway boss, get an unlock, finish the mission.
Yeah.
Usually the unlock you get helps you because you can't finish the area without getting past the midway boss and getting that unlock, because obvious reasons. There's always something on the planet in the dungeon that you can't get past until
Yeah.
you get to that midway point and get your unlock. Like on Dathomir, it's a set of claws which you put over your knuckles, which helps you climb walls. But
Yeah.
it helps you climb walls that are made of a different material to everything else. So it's yeah, there's a load of the map that is completely inaccessible until you get these claws. But it's also how you beat the midway boss. Is that it's a giant weird bat thing, which after you put down to its last bit of health, fucks off.
Yeah.
You get these claws, you start climbing out of the fucking room that you're in, and it just starts chasing you up the wall, and you just like climb fast enough away from it that it gets killed by the rocks falling on it. But it's proper arsehole when you're climbing, because the wall starts coming away as you're climbing it.
Yeah.
So if you're not climbing fast enough, you just get pulled away and dropped onto the floor and you die immediately.
Lovely.
Yeah, Dathomir's a cunt. But like I said, it's got a story difficulty. I'm hoping at some point, after a bit of people asking them, that they do put a no HUD option on, because with BD1's light on the back of its head, keeping your health tracked and
Yeah.
changes color depending on what your health is, there really is no use for the HUD that it has. I mean, it's got stamina and a force meter, but if you know what you're doing, you shouldn't need either of those. And your health meter, which again is covered by BD being on your back.
Yeah.
Again, if you know what you're doing, you shouldn't really need to worry about that. So a no HUD playthroughs should be completely option. So I really want a no HUD playthrough because the game's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it's proper 4K style um, gorgeous levels that we've got at the moment.
Okay.
So, well, yeah, I'm quite enjoying it, and I think
Would a non-Star Wars fan enjoy it?
so. The game that it is, yes, because without it being um, without it being a massive nod to Star Wars and names of planets and characters and species, it's set in a time where there isn't an abundance of Jedi. It's set between episodes 3 and 4.
Okay.
It's set I in the greater lore that they've put together. It's set before Rogue One, obviously, as Saw Gerrera is
Yeah.
in it as a slightly younger Forrest Whitaker.
Okay.
And as far as I can tell, it is actually Forrest Whitaker.
Nice.
So that was quite a nice thing. Uh, oh, and I'm definitely a fan of Cameron Moynihan.
Who is he or she?
Cameron Moynihan is Cal, the main character in this, but it played the pseudo Joker in Gotham.
Okay.
So he's pretty decent in this. As voice work goes,
Yeah.
he has put in a decent amount of effort for what he is, and the way that he reacts to the things going around him, he's actually done a really good job of voice acting. So yeah, quite impressed by it so far. Star Wars fans, if you're just wanting to play it for what is a relatively decent story on top of a game that's pretty well put together,
Yeah.
and I mean you're not just a Darksiders fan because you're a massive fan of the mythology behind it, but you're also a fan because they're actually quite good games.
Yeah.
It's closer to Darksiders 1 than 2 in terms of the RPG elements,
Okay.
which is really good for people like you.
Yes.
But as a dungeon, I'm just going to keep calling it a dungeon crawler because I don't really know how else to explain it. Because that's almost exactly what it is. You go to a planet, you go work your way around the planet, midway bosses. There's a lot of exploration to do on it, and you have to keep going back to the planets after you've got more unlocks. So, yeah. If you can get it cheap, Black Friday style, or once it goes eventually onto EA Access as a free game, rather than not having the 10-hour trial that it does, because it doesn't have one.
Okay.
You can't complete it in 10 hours. So, yeah. Honestly, I think Respawn is EA's only good studio right now. It's the only studio they seem to trust, because this is now the fourth game in a row that they've released that has gone out and has been classed as mighty on Metacritic, I think it is.
Okay.
And they also released a free game that in Apex Legends, which then kind of got universally hated slowly because EA took more and more ownership of it with microtransactions and stuff. But
That doesn't sound like somebody that trusts their developer.
yeah, but that's post release. We're no longer working on it. It's now moved into the EA fold of a different team working on it at this point, rather than the original development team, which is pretty typical. But with Titanfall 1, Titanfall 2 having a fucking phenomenal story, and now this also having a pretty solid story, yeah, I can see why I want more people to play this game because I want Respawn to get more money and I want EA to realize that a good game is the best thing they can put out at the moment.
Yeah.
Because at the moment they haven't released a good game in a long time. Like a truly good single player experience has not come out of EA in almost 10 years.
That doesn't seem very fair. I'm not EA's biggest fan, but you know, you said it yourself. Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 is a genuinely great single player experience.
True, but it wouldn't have been if it wasn't for the fact because they would have gladly just left that as being a multiplayer only, and it probably could have survived as a multiplayer only, but it happened to have one of the greatest story modes in a first-person shooter.
Yeah. I know. I think you and me are going to disagree on this because I quite enjoyed most of the Battlefield story modes. Yeah, Battlefield 1 and 5 we had great
The
story
war
modes.
story stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them were better than others.
Well, yeah, but you can't. You're not. You, if you're
Yeah,
looking for perfect, I think that's a whole new ball game.
some of the war stories were actually really good. I'll admit that, but at the same time, a lot of those war stories were pretty guff.
Fair enough.
Like the war story set in the tank was a bit shit, but the one where you're playing as the pilot
Yeah.
after you've done the flying bit is really good. When you're playing as the pilot after crash landing and trying to get yourself back from behind enemy lines through no man's land,
Yeah.
really fucking good. And in Battlefield 5, when you're playing as the African gentleman, really fucking good storyline on that one.
Yeah.
A lot of the other ones were a bit naff.
Fair enough.
But if EA can realize that putting out a game with an absolutely outstanding story and a single player experience with no multiplayer and still make some money on it,
Yeah.
maybe they'll start actually putting out some more good games. Because the only thing really holding back EA are themselves. And I'm not even an EA hater. I love EA games.
Yeah.
I've probably owned more EA games than any other publisher stroke developer team
Okay.
than any other. So I can't say that I hate EA because it just wouldn't be true. But if they can put more effort into putting out better single player and better stories,
Yeah.
then everyone goes home a winner rather than half baking ideas and throwing microtransactions at them.
Yeah. Okay.
Even the sports games, if they were to put, because they've put story modes into them, especially for FIFA and Madden with their long shot and did long shot even get a second season?
I'm pretty
I
sure it
don't
did.
know. I don't think I played it.
Yeah, you did. You told me not to.
Possibly. Honestly, I can't remember what long shot season 2 was.
Fair enough. I reckon we talked about it. I reckon we could go back and find the episode that you talked about it.
Probably, but it was not very good as far as I can remember. I think. Wait, no, I think you were playing. Wait, were you a coach with Colt Cruz for the high school team? Yes, and then playing for a football team as the other guy. Yeah, average at best. And the journey was fucking terrible and completely not necessary. And I'm pretty sure I'm one of the only people in the world who finished the journey across all 3 seasons. Boy, do I regret that decision. So yeah, let's move on. Play Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay.
It's good.
Fair enough. Okay, so my next game is I played a game called Inmost.
All right.
So Inmost, for those that might remember from a couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks ago now, I spoke about it briefly on our post EGX 2019 show because it was something Lee and I were looking at in the Resd section at EGX. It is a bleak puzzle platformer. So it's basically like greys and blues and greens, and it's all very depressing and horrible by design. It's kind of about loneliness and things like that. But it's a pixel art puzzle platformer with a story, and the story is you are trying to find your way through a haunted, possibly old castle, kind of an abandoned old castle, let's say, and you have to explore, find keys and things to get through this battered old building that's trying to kill you with ghosts and hunters. I think they're called, these big things that turn up at the end of levels and kind of chase you around. And there's not much in the way of combat. One of the characters you play as has a decent amount of combat, but you have multiple characters as you go through the story. I can't really say an awful lot because the game only lasted like 2.5 hours. It wasn't on for very long, and it's currently exclusive to Apple Arcade. But it looks beautiful, and the atmosphere is just brilliant. It's very I'm not going to say it's scary because it's not scary, but it is kind of edgy-y and makes you shiver a little bit. Plenty of creepy noises and plenty of weird things happening. I would recommend it, even for people that don't really like horror. I wouldn't call it a horror game, but other people do. Or I think even they class it, the developers class it as a horror game. So it was made by the guys that made... What did they make? I think they might have been the guys that made Oxenfree.
Alright.
But I'm not 100% sure. Not 100. But I tell you, so I'll read the little. You get a little blurb thing on their website. It says, Inmost is an atmospheric, story-driven puzzle platformer, following 3 playable characters within one dark, interconnecting story. In an old, abandoned castle, you'll need to explore every nook and cranny, avoid detection, slice your way through enemies, and spring deadly traps in order to escape the evil that lurks within. Yeah, I should have just read that out to start with.
Maybe.
It's everything I wanted to say. But it's really good, and it looks, it's pixel art. It looks gorgeous, and it's clearly built for like a smaller screen. So I played it on my iPad a little bit when I was away, and it worked really well. But I actually started the game on my big TV because it's on Apple Arcade, which is on the Apple TV. And literally just I clicked my trial and I clicked on Inmost and it just installed it to the Apple TV, and I played it with my PlayStation controller, which was kind of cool. But yeah, obviously the pixels are fucking massive once you put it on a 55, 60-inch TV, but it still looks amazing. I can't recommend it enough. I think it comes to Steam back end of the year or beginning of next year. I would like to see it go elsewhere, mainly so Lee could play it, because I think it's the kind of thing Lee would really enjoy. Yeah, just go play Inmost. I think it's great, and the guys have done a bang up job. And I kind of hope if they do like extra missions or an extra character, and then like release a complete edition, I would gladly hand over money for it.
No, I'm kind of glad you enjoyed it. It's not my cup of tea, obviously, for one very simple reason. But at the same time, I also probably won't want to throw any more money at Apple for things of subscription services, considering I've got a Stadia account coming.
Oh no, I've done it on my Apple Arcade trial.
Yeah,
Uh, and my trial expired, and I cancelled my subscription. And if I want to play it again, I have to pay for the subscription.
yeah,
I I don't mind that form of service. I would have liked the choice to just buy the game. It makes me a little bit sad that that wasn't there. So
yeah,
if I want to play the game, I have to subscribe to Apple Arcade, which is kind of bollocks because
yeah.
I don't play games on my iPad. I don't play games on my Apple TV. I play games on my PlayStation and my Xbox. But the occasional game I would just buy. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
Uh, but it is good. It is very good. And anybody, just go and have it. There's a bunch of kind of uh, there's there's a selection of like 10 GIFs on the homepage to the game, which are inmostgame.com, and you get a good idea of what the game looks like and what the kind of shit you're going to be doing. Uh, I wouldn't think twice. If you look at it and go, that looks interesting, just go play it. It's brilliant. Anything else from you, mate?
Uh, I don't know. I feel like I should really delve into After Party, but I kind of don't want to, just because it's going to take like another half an hour of talking about After Party, which I'm just going to preface with After Party is so far my game of the year.
I don't think it's going to take half. I mean, if you want to talk about it for half an hour, there's nothing wrong with that. But
Uh,
I don't think it'll take
okay,
half an hour. Tell us what After Party is, then, mate, because I fucking loved this game, but I
so
think you loved it more, so I will let you take the floor.
so After Party is the first, lack of a better term, walking simulator, multiple choice, quick time event, story game that I've truly and utterly played and fallen in love with. Of all of the other ones that you've recommended to me, like Firewatch or this most recent one, Inmost, or that other one of that I've completely forgotten where you something about ducks, rubber ducks in the game. I can't remember
What?
what it was. There was an achievement, something about a rubber duck. You have to put it somewhere.
Oh, Gone Home.
Yeah, that's the one. Gone
Yeah.
Home. Of all of these games that you've told me that I need to pick up, this is the first one that I've seen right from the get-go of me ever seeing anything about it at E3 and going, you know what? I need to play this game.
Did we see After Party at E3?
I'm pretty certain it was at E3 because it was shown off on both Xbox and on PlayStation, I think.
Ah, no, it was PlayStation. Well, because it wouldn't have been E3 then, because PlayStation wasn't at E3.
True.
It was the PlayStation Experience thing
Okay. And also, it was shown on the Xbox as well.
on the same night. So they had the two on the same night, didn't they?
Yes, they must have done. Man, there's so many fucking expos and event things these days.
Yes.
No wonder E3's falling apart.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
So we
After
we
Party.
saw After Party, which is from the guys that made another game which I've not played, but you probably did.
Maybe After Party was one that was made by Oxenfree. Made by the guys that made Oxenfree.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure when you mentioned Oxenfree, I'm pretty confident it was these guys that made Oxenfree.
I need to do my research more. You keep
Yeah,
talking, I will research.
you'll come back with all of the answers to the things that I'm confused about.
Yeah.
So After Party is made by the guys that also made, I'm 100% certain it's Oxenfree at this
Yeah,
point.
it is.
Now that you,
Night school games.
yeah. And you play as a couple of college alumni. Okay, so they're graduating at this point. And you start off in a party, funnily enough, that is kind of not going right, for lack of a better term.
Hmm.
You're just wandering around, you're talking to the people. They don't really seem to know who you are. You don't really seem to know who they are. And then it kind of just all appears to you that you died. and depending on how you go through your ways in the various conversations you have after this point, you discover you died on your way to this party. But it's a massive throwaway comment at this point. It's not really relevant to the game in the slightest. Much like your reason for being in hell is also a throwaway comment, right, as opposed to you were terrible people.
Yeah.
As shown by the very start of the game when you're put through processing, and I'm pretty sure someone's in hell just for singing lyrics out of tune to songs.
Yep.
And some of the punishments that you hear of the people that are in hell are quite amusing, like the woman who's getting her tits bitten off that then regrow back slightly larger until she has incredible back pain when jogging.
Yep. I did laugh
It's
at
just
that.
fucking. Or the man who's being hung by his testicles used as a tetherball, weather permitting.
Yep. The background chatter in After Party is some of my favourite NPC conversations I've seen in quite a while.
So it was exactly what I wanted out of a game to distract me from the amount of bullshit of other games that I've been playing. So I'd just come from playing a fuck ton of Battlefield, a fuck ton of FIFA. I needed something that was a massive palate cleanser.
Yeah.
And After Party was that. And I gave it 3 playthroughs to collect all of the achievements, because there is one achievement that will guarantee to, if you don't do a bit of very, very, very quick and fast save point abuse, because the quick save on this game is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can get the last 3 story achievements for the 3 separate endings in one go if you're quick enough. However, yeah, you need to play through the story 3 times, which I did with complete ease. Because after the first playthrough and doing it half one way, where I was just making decisions based on what it felt like doing, and then doing the second playthrough of making the decisions of the exact opposite of what I did the previous time, just so I can see what the other side of the coin looked like, and then a third playthrough of, okay, so I've done everything, now I want to see what this looks like, because I preferred these options when I was going through.
Yeah.
And you know what? Just some of the conversations that you have with various different people, like, I practically fell in love with Wormhorn, just because she's just so cute and adorable.
Who's
with
Wormhorn?
Your personal demon.
Okay. I knew that. The people that might be listening might not.
This is true. Yeah, so your personal demon, Wormhorn, Sister Mary something. Yeah, she is so cute and adorable in her ways of torturing you, because it is, again, another somewhat throwaway comment by one of the random NPCs, is that personal demons are proper the lowest of the low.
Yeah.
Their sole purpose is to push you in front of a car when you're out of your contracted torture hours, just to remind you that you're in hell and you can't just go drinking all the time, which is, well, hell is a massive party atmosphere outside of general working torture hours, because they only do torture during working hours. It's a complete, straight, standard working pattern, 9 to 5 jobby, which is, I thought, was a really cool aspect. And it's like, oh yeah, you've done your torture. Again, another random NPC comment of, oh yeah, it's bad being the person being flayed, but have you ever tried flaying someone for 10 hours straight?
Yeah.
Boy, at the point you reach the end of it, you wish you were the one on the receiving end. I never really expected to see hell portrayed in this kind of fashion. And it just works because of that. And it's Milo and Lola, the 2 main characters that you play at, are somewhat complete dickbags to pretty much everyone that they meet. And half of it can be explained by the fact that you're drinking different alcoholic beverages, alcohol beverages, which change the way that you talk to people.
Yeah.
But when they're completely sober, they are complete dickbags, not just to other people, but to each other,
Yeah.
which I'm guessing is the main point of the whole story. But the alcohol that you drink, some of them are fucking brilliant. Like there's one that makes you sound like a 1950s Chicago gangster,
Yep.
or other ones that make you talk like a pirate, ones that make you unnecessarily cocky, ones that make you flirt with people, which I actually thought was quite amusing, playing beer pong and flirting with the demon while you're playing as Milo, because it proper throws the other guy off his game when trying to play, because he just can't handle the fact that he's being flirted with. Uh, so it honestly, it's the best £13 you can spend if you're going to buy it, I think. Or if you've got Game Pass, it's completely free on Xbox through Game Pass and is definitely worth installing and playing through at least once just to get the story. Give it a second go through just so you can do the other side of the coin of all of the main decisions you make. And once you've done that, hit that third playthrough just so you can get the last achievement.
Yeah.
So I had no intention of completing the game until after I got like there was a couple of random secret achievements that I picked up along the way, and after playing it for a bit longer, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get all of the achievements on this one. I think I can get the majority of them either on this playthrough or the next, and then
Yeah.
it's just down to that getting that. For me, honestly, I did that last playthrough was to get that one last achievement which evaded me. It was the final story achievement of beating Satan, which is the entire objective of the game, is to beat
Yeah.
Satan in a drinking contest at the end.
Nice.
Is the sole purpose of the game is to beat Satan in a drinking contest. It took me my third attempt of the third story ending achievement to actually do that because surprise surprise, it's not fucking easy.
No.
So that's After Party and how much I fucking love After Party and is so far pretty much guaranteed to be my game of the year.
Nice. No, I very much enjoyed After Party. Uh, Top five, probably. Probably. I, I've not even considered what my fucking top games of the year are going to look like at the moment.
Well, you better think quick because there's only going to be like 2 more episodes before the end of the year.
I know. Call of Duty will probably be up there.
Yeah. Top 10 for me. But yeah,
I
After
I very
Party
much
and
enjoyed.
Star Wars for me.
Oh yeah, yeah, true.
Strange, just like the last 2 games I played.
uh, Maybe Death Stranding turns up and it's the most amazing game I've ever played.
See, I have the advantage of that being possibly in my game of the year for next year when it comes on PC.
Yeah.
Because I have no other method of playing it until then. There's another game that was coming to PC that's a console exclusive to either PlayStation or Xbox. I can't remember which one it was, what game it is now, or what console it is exclusive to. It wasn't Death Stranding, it was something else.
Have you
But
played Red Dead on your laptop yet?
No, I won't. I didn't think the story was that good to go through it again. And my laptop isn't capable of putting out 4K.
Fair enough.
Fuck, what game was it? It's a recent port to play to PC, or is available on PC but also console exclusive to something. I mean, it might even be a PlayStation game because I might have seen it, gone, oh yeah, I can now play that because it's on PC now. Fuck. Oh well, I'm sure I'll remember it at some point, or just never ever think about it again.
That one.
Yep.
Almost certainly.
Almost certainly. Right, so that's me done for what I've been playing. Brooks,
Yes, mate.
I think we should talk a little bit about a little thing that happened in London over the weekend.
Yeah, I suppose we can. So, well, it still covers what we've been playing because we went there to
Yeah.
play games.
This is true. Also, fuck you.
What do you mean also fuck me?
Also, fuck you
Okay.
for what you made me do.
Well, made you do it. I've been threatening to do it. If you'd have just gotten off your ass and played Doom like I told you, I wouldn't have made you do it in the middle of London. So yeah, so we went to London to XO19, which was the little Xbox expo thing in the centre of London. Which
Not even a good part of London.
No. Oh no, it's Olympic Stadium. It's alright down there.
Yeah.
It's down Stratford. There are worse areas of London, man.
Yes. Although we did get donuts.
Yes, we did. Yeah. So XO19 was Xbox set themselves up in what is essentially a small basketball stadium.
Yep.
Or a slightly shrunken Wembley Arena.
Yeah. What did we kind of half agree? It was like 15 to 20,000.
Yeah. Yeah. So they had a concourse row of stuff where they were showing off xCloud. They had a bunch of stand-up sections for games, like all new stuff that come in, including Doom Eternal, which I made John play, which is awesome. There was a little indie section with a few games on. There was a stage and a tiny little set of seats for there's like a mixer schedule thing where they were showing off new stuff. I think while they were there, they showed off Minecraft Universe,
Minecraft Guardians? No, Minecraft something.
Minecraft Worlds,
maybe.
Minecraft something.
I thought it began with a G. Pretty sure it began with a G. Never mind. The new. Well, what type of game is that? It's like a MOBA.
It's a dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
It's essentially Darksiders.
It's like what was it? Dungeon Siege?
Yeah, something like
that. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it was basically a very small version of EGX. It was a bunch of games to play, some already out, some on their way, couple
some that had come out after the XO19 had started, but were already out by the time we got there.
Yeah. Like Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played. Yeah, we walked around. We played a few games. We talked to some people. What top? I don't know. 2 games that you played, mate.
Top 2 games that I played while I was there. West of Dead.
Okay. Yep. What's West of Dead?
That was the Ron Perlman. Man, that game was fucking hard. Like really fucking hard. Like every time I died, because I died like 4 or 5 times, and you had to restart because that's the way that the demos were working.
Yeah.
It restarted you into what felt like the exact same dungeon. It was completely different. Like
Okay.
you walk along, you pick up different weapons. So the first time I played it, I got a flintlock rifle, and a flintlock pistol. Second time I did it, I got like a sawn-off shotgun and a flintlock rifle. And then another time around, I got a shotgun pistol and a regular pistol. And it was so essentially it's a I'm trying to remember because it's like what that new Darksiders game is that you and Lee were playing.
Genesis.
Yes, so it's similar style to that, dungeon crawler style, isometric, walking between room to room. You have to dodge and parry attacks while you shoot back as a guy who looks almost exactly like what Ghost Rider would in the Old West.
Yeah.
Set in Purgatory, as they call it.
Okay.
It's actually a good amount of fun for what you're doing, walking in between little arenas, kill the 2 or 3 enemies, but it's also like light based, so you have to turn on lanterns and torches to be able to see the enemies.
Okay.
So yeah, that's probably my top 3 of games that I played. I'd say probably third. I'd probably give Kart Rider Drift number 2, which is A well Mario Kart clone,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term, that's coming to PC and Xbox with crossplay. I think it might already be out on PC, but it's coming onto Xbox completely free next year. But it's got a beta starting on the 6th of December. Uh, the private beta that you can just randomly apply for, obviously online through their standard channels. But we also got given a couple of beta codes
Yeah.
because the game broke while we were playing it.
That's quite funny. They did panic a little bit when the game
Yeah,
broke.
they were super apologetic, like crazy levels of oh shit, the game is broke directly in front of a load of people. We need to make everything right for them. Here are all the fucking badges under the sun
Yeah.
and 7 beta codes.
Like I'm going to install it on 7 accounts.
It's like, oh gee, thank, I've got 7 codes for a game that you're probably going to give out to anyone who applies for their
Yep.
beta,
Yep.
because that's how closed betas work. You ask for a code and they go, okay, here you go. They don't just say, oh, we're only going to give it out to like 600 people. No, you're going to give it out to anyone who fucking applies. Because even if they fucking applied and install it, they're not necessarily going to fucking play it. But whatever. They were really apologetic, and I loved it for that. Because they could have easily just said, oh, well, it broke, fuck off, move on. Which probably would have happened at EGX.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. What else did I play? Well, I played Forza Horizon's Lego expansion,
Yeah.
which was exactly as fun as I was expecting it to be. It had all of the fucking Lego humor that you expect in any kind of Lego game.
Yeah.
Uh, and for a racing game, that's quite impressive that they've just add that extra bit of Lego humor. Like driving along and the final cutscene of using the supercar before moving on to the off-road minis is you knocking a cone off of the side of the platform that you end on, and the cone lands on a dude's head and just gets stuck to it, Lego style.
Yep.
That was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I got to spend some time talking to actually one of the guys from Playground Games while you were
Uh,
playing.
yeah, because I played it on both the console with the big screen directly above me,
Yeah.
and then finally played it on with the Fanatec steering rig,
Yeah.
which I didn't realize there was actually a proper Fanatec rig for Xbox. But it's entirely possible it wasn't the Xbox version. It could have been the PC version.
Yeah.
But it was running off of an XDK, so it didn't really matter one way or the other.
No.
But it was really, really fucking good and plays really fucking well. And finally, I played. Oh no, because I also played something else. I played that Resident,
Project Resistance.
yeah, Project Resistance with Brooker playing as the director.
The Mastermind.
Yeah. And playing with 3 random people who were just completely useless, and Brooker playing as the mastermind, taking control of the big fucking guy from Resident Evil 2.
Once I got control of the tyrant, that was it. You guys were fucked.
Yeah, you're literally just wandering around swinging your fucking fists and just instantly killing almost everything that came near you. When you're playing with a group of people who were completely fucking useless and didn't really know what to do or do anything useful, and we were fucking struggling just to get to past the first area. But I suppose it didn't help that we had completely no knowledge whatsoever of the characters we were playing as.
No.
No real help whatsoever for what it is that we were trying to do. So, for a first attempt, it was poor, but if you really think about it and you actually go give it a good go, I would probably put that up there as my second favorite asymmetric multiplayer game that I've played, behind Predator Hunting Grounds.
Okay.
It's above Evolve, which for definite,
Yeah.
and I would say that it's above Dead by Daylight, but I've only played like 1 match of that,
Okay.
and that's definitely not my cup of tea.
Too horror-y for you.
Yeah, have you seen the new Dead by Daylight expansion?
Nope.
It's very Japanese horror.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's Sadako and Kayako and.
Mm.
Nice.
So yeah,
Quite like the idea of chasing motherfuckers around a Sadako. That'd be awesome.
yeah, very Japanese horror.
Oh, it's
And
going to be the little kid. I can't remember his name. The kid from Ju-On. Oh, that kid is so fucking scary.
and finally, Brooker made me play Doom Eternal.
Shit, yeah, son.
But to be honest, we played it. It was there. It was right next to the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate prize ball dropping Plinko type machine,
Yeah.
where we were told to come back in 10 minutes
And
by
kept
the
coming
guy
back.
by the guy trying to block people going into the queue, because people were literally queuing so much that he was probably getting told off. So we moved on to Doom Eternal, which took. So how many runs was there before us? We joined the queue as they did a changeover.
Yeah.
We moved forward pretty quickly to that, and then there was those people that were playing. Then it was the next round, and we were like 1 and 2 from that round.
Yeah.
Well, 2 and 3.
Yeah.
There was also a guy in front of us who went into it, got to his desk to start playing it, and then just fucked off immediately.
Yeah, it was
So
brilliant.
after he'd been standing in the queue for like 40 minutes, just fucked off after finally getting a chance to play Doom Eternal.
He just wanted his badges. That's all he wanted.
Yeah. Whereas we don't need no stinking badges. Do you want my badges from Doom Eternal, seeing as you had to lose yours to your daughter?
If you don't want them, I will take them because
Because
yeah,
they're still in the plastic wrapping right now. Because I've got no intention of using them. The same as I've still got the. I might keep the Game Pass ones. Those XO19 Xbox Game Pass ones are pretty cool.
yeah.
And the Kart Rider ones are sweet.
The kart rider ones are on Nikita's school bag now.
I've got. Yeah. I've also got those Doom stickers. I don't know what to fucking do with those.
They're the first transfers I've ever put on my laptop.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to put transfers on my laptop.
I've got a shell on my laptop, so all I've got to do is take the shell off and it's back to out the box condition.
Yeah,
I've got a Mac, mate. Everybody that owns a MacBook, the first thing they do is put a fucking shell on it.
true. True. But I played Doom Eternal. I'm still not going to pick up Doom Eternal.
Tell me that fucking shooting wasn't fun.
It was fun, and the only issues that I had with Doom Eternal the entire time that I was playing it was the platforming's a bit shit. But I say that about every game that has a platforming element. Like, I will say the same thing. Jedi's Fallen Order, the platforming in that is a right cunt, and I've died more times to the platforming than I have anything else. Although it's not, in Fallen Order, it's not death from falling platform-wise. You lose a chunk of your health and you get put back on the stage, roughly where it is that you fell off. Although I've fallen off on Fallen Order going in one direction, get put back on where I fell off, stepped backwards to give myself a bit more time to jump up, and then fallen off that side because I wasn't really paying attention. And it was a small platform. So I ended up losing a bigger chunk of health than I really wanted to, just because I was a complete dick. My own fault. But Doom's platforming is not as bad, but it's still a bit first-person shooter clunky, which obviously it's a first-person shooter, and platforming never really goes well in a first-person shooter.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, it didn't take much getting used to because there's a bit of platforming in the first one as well, and once you get the feel for it, you're flying and everything. I find it's just very fluid in Doom, and I like getting to the end of an arena and just I am the ultimate badass because you do fucking feel like the ultimate badass when you've whooped ass and just annihilated everything in this arena, and you just take a second to breathe before you move on to the next one, and you go, I'm a fucking badass.
Yeah, it didn't help that whoever had set the headsets up didn't really know what to do in terms of balancing the audio. So I couldn't really work out what the fuck was going on audio-wise. I couldn't hear any speech at all.
There is no speech in Doom.
No, I mean like
literally none.
Okay, so I could barely understand anything that was going on around me. The little punch card in front of me telling me what the buttons were.
Yeah.
and I'd almost completely forgotten everything that I was taught in the tutorial in terms of button control by this point because everything happening on the screen at once.
Oh, it's so fucking hectic. That second arena you go into, it's just death,
Yeah.
and then it gets worse, and it's just balls out mental.
Yeah.
The thing with the actual game, because you got to remember that that's you've been thrown into.
Yeah, I've been thrown into what I'm
Yeah,
assuming is about 5 hours from the end of the game.
yeah. So that bit at the beginning, where you're going through the station, I think is quite early on,
Yeah.
but yeah, it is very well paced in its tutorial in the first one. So the way it teaches you the game, it's still quick, but it's paced well enough for you to pick it up. And I never had an issue remembering controls ever. I could put that game down for 3 days and go back to it. And go, oh, here we go. This, it's very uh, it's very good at teaching you and does a good job in making sure that you're good with one mechanic before it moves on to the next. And if you use all the only way to beat that game is to use all the fucking mechanics that you're taught.
Use everything all the time and
Yes.
use all the fucking guns all
Yes,
the time.
because it's fucking mental.
So I didn't die as much as I was expecting to. Like the way that you advertised it to me is that so much dying. I
Oh
think
no,
I only
so where you were, so the where you were when you were told to get off, so
yeah.
that climbing section. After that is where it got fucking dumb. After that is where it just got absolutely like the guys that were chasing you were 4 times your size and like one hit kills. They were absolute bastards.
Okay.
But I think they tweaked the demo a little bit from EGX.
Yeah, it did. It did seem like I was in that second arena for a bit longer than I really should have been for what was going on. But at the same time, I don't think many people got much further than what I did from I was watching. I don't think I saw more than 3 people getting to the point where they had access to the minigun.
Yeah.
So I suppose I think they had lengthened it a little bit, but they might have also shrunk the amount of time that people had because it's such a closed and small session. So this isn't me admitting defeat in that Doom is brilliant, but more of there was a complete lack of other games that I had the chance and actually got around to playing, because if you take a look at the rest of the games there and did we actually play anything else, Doom was probably my game of the show.
Oh, Doom was a shitload of fun, but Doom
Yeah.
is always a shitload of fun, and that's the thing. That's why I keep pushing you to try and play it, because it's such an easy just switch off and play game. It's literally like watching your favorite action film over and over again. You can just switch off and enjoy it. And if you want, there is a fuckload of story there for you to read. Fuckloads. And the story is so well put together. And the hilarious, ironic, and sometimes really sad bit about it is most people that play Doom don't want to read it, but someone spent hours putting that lore together, and it is so well done.
Yeah. I appreciate, and I'm not gonna hate you forever for forcing me onto playing it. I mean, the only reason I played it was because I just let it happen because of being turned away from the fucking Plinko machine and thought, fuck it, this isn't going to take too long. Let's go play Doom. The queue's not that long. And then the number of times we tried to queue up again and got turned away until eventually we just joined the queue because
Just snuck into the queue and fuck you, dude.
The dude clearly had just given up at that point because it was towards the end of the time slot that we had and was just like, yeah, people can just queue up.
Yeah.
If they get a chance to do it, they get a chance to do it. If they don't get a chance to do it, then, well, they probably should have been standing in a different queue and played a different game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the only game that I didn't play that I wanted to was Skatebird, and that's because there was only one console with Skatebird on.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if it's an ID at Xbox and it ends up going straight onto Game Pass, so be it. I'll just play it then.
Yeah.
It's not going to be I need to play this game right now and I need to play it for fucking forever. This is another Untitled Goose Game level of I'm going to play this game until I stop playing it, and then I'll probably never turn it on again.
Yeah.
But I think of the rest of the games that were there, so Jedi Fallen Order was out and I'd already purchased at this point, and the only reason I hadn't played it was because I ended up having a scrim session on Call of Duty that night before going down to to Exo 19.
Yeah.
So I didn't start playing Star Wars until I got back from Exo 19, and then played it most of Sunday.
Nice.
There was Age of Empires DE.
Yeah.
So that was, again, another game that was there that neither of us played because they're just straight up. I still don't understand why Age of Empires 2 got a definitive edition.
No. I
Why not
also
just
remember getting my ass handed to me playing Age of Empires back in the day. I'm not going back to that.
why make a definitive edition of Age of Empires when they could just release a new Age of Empires game?
Yes.
Well, literally, what's the point of taking an old game and essentially making a new game of the old game? Because there's no way they could upscale an RTS game from that long ago to 4K graphics. It's literally just a rebuild of the entire ground up. Just fucking do that and make a new game.
I'm in complete agreement with you, mate. Complete agreement.
What was the other game that looked? Oh, there was Grounded was there, which I'll admit
That's
I
the
am.
rare one, isn't it?
Yeah, I am half interested in, just because it seems like an interesting idea. But nah, might. It's another Game Pass game for me. Just like with what's it called was the last rare game, Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
It seems a lot more interesting than it probably end up will being. And what's that other Overwatch type game? Bleeding Edge?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the hero shooter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Seems fun. Yeah, the fact that it's not really out in any kind of way, as it's still going through testing phases, and they keep doing testing loops and adding characters, is
Yeah.
the other weird thing. Is that they're it's clearly a game that's still hilariously in development because they still haven't got all of the characters that they're putting into the game designed and put into the testing phases yet.
Yeah.
Uh, it seems a game that they're slowly building from the ground up and letting people get run around with it to try and get a good balance right from the go, instead of going, oh yeah, here's a game, here's all the ideas that we kind of put together in a box, play it, and then go, oh shit, the meta seems to be this, let's nerf the fuck out of it. Rather than lift everything else up, they just nerf the fuck out of that
Yeah.
until no one uses it ever again. But that's the way it is. How was your Exo 19 experience?
Yeah, it was all right. I quite like going to it's a bit like our EGX Rezzed experience. I just quite like turning up and walking around and playing a couple of little games, and I like the format of, getting a 4 hour slot to go in, because, well, I was home by 3 o'clock. Well, half three. uh I did like Project Resistance. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it. I was a bit put off of it, and I don't think it will sell well because it's a Resident Evil branded game that isn't actually scary.
Yeah.
It's a pure multiplayer game. So Project Resistance is a 5-player asymmetric multiplayer game. So it's 4v1. It's 4 mercenaries against 1 taskmaster, or whatever they were called, project leader or
Mastermind,
mastermind.
the director,
Yeah.
essentially.
So and the mastermind gets to pick, or has control of cameras around a building, and you follow these people around, and you drop in traps, and you add in zombies, and you have to hinder their progress
Progression. Yeah.
looking for an exit from this building. And I like it. Playing as the mastermind was fun, and taking control of zombies on occasion was kind of cool. Yeah, and I was quite happy wandering around just slapping people around with a zombie. It was it was a laugh. Uh, but I don't think there's an audience for it. I'll be honest.
I'm guessing that you had a limit to what you could do, and you had to
Yeah,
essentially earn. I'm gonna lack of a better term. You have to earn credits to be
yeah.
able to then
It it
use and do stuff.
it was a bit like playing Plants vs Zombies, whereas
Yeah,
you have like credits and your credits slowly go up. So you can either keep throwing down things that only cost you 1 credit, or you can throw down the occasional thing that costs you 5 or 6.
yeah.
You
So it's
know,
like you're sitting there going, I could put down maybe 5 zombies here, or I could wait another, 10 seconds and throw down a big motherfucker, which is almost guaranteed to win. However, in that time frame, they could, depending on how good they are,
yeah,
break themselves into the next area and add 60 seconds onto their timer.
yep. So I couldn't throw down the tyrant until you got to the final room.
Yeah,
And I'll be honest, because we just kind of jumped into this game, so I wasn't sure if it was meant to be like that, or if I'd done something wrong, or what. But I couldn't throw down the tyrant until you guys got into the last room, which is why when I did, I then just started throwing haymakers everywhere.
yeah,
It does need some polish. So when you take control of the tyrant, there's like a list of commands underneath. So like X is big swinging punch, and B is stomp, and A is ball charge. I'm like, okay, but I tried to do a charge at someone, and all I did, it just looked like I was bowing at them.
I mean, the big swinging punch really fucking worked.
Yeah, I got quite good at that. After the first couple of times when I was missing everything, I was like, I see what I need to do here, and I just started whooping ass.
Yeah,
He is very overpowered if you're going up against people that have got no idea what's going on.
yeah. No, knowing that we managed to get as far as we did, because I didn't know how far along we'd gotten, because I couldn't work it out, because as far as I was concerned, we'd literally gone through one room, as opposed to, I'm guessing we'd actually gone through a little bit, because I'm pretty sure I'd,
You'd gone round three, so you'd gone through. So if you can imagine like a square map,
yeah,
or let's call it a rectangle map. You came in at the map like top left,
yep,
and then went right across to the other side, and then
yep,
went down, and
yeah,
then went bottom right over to bottom left.
okay,
And bottom left was your final room, and that's where I stopped you.
got it. Because I I walked straight because the dude said you need to try and get out as quickly as you can. You
Yeah,
need to if you find zombies, if you've got a choice of either taking them on or just going past them, just go past them.
yeah,
And I took that advice and I was like, you know what? He's not wrong. The number of times I've played classic Resident Evil games and gone, should I waste 3 rounds shooting this guy in the face, or should I just move on and save my ammo?
yeah,
And every time you think to yourself, I should probably not empty a clip into a single zombie because that clip could be really useful a bit later on.
yes,
So I was playing it like a Resident Evil player would play. The
yeah.
guys I was with decided against that.
The guys you were with were playing it like Evolve, and that was bad because they were trying to kill everything, and actually everything was stronger than they are.
Yeah. They were trying to kill everything, constantly getting hurt, and leaving. And I'm pretty sure I lost almost all of my health trying to save them.
Yep.
Because I know you killed me while I was trying to revive one of them.
Oh
Because
yeah, I meant that once I got one of you down, it was great because everybody just kept turning up to try and revive the other ones. I was like, nope, you're mine.
yeah. I knew which one was the healer, and the only person I was interested in keeping alive was the fucking healer.
Yeah,
I wanted to choose the healer, but as I hovered over it, someone else selected it, so I ended up with the tank. And I looked at the tank and I was like, this is just some high school football guy with a bat.
yep. Did look a little bit like the dude from Dead Rising 2.
Yeah. It was literally just a fucking jock with a bat wandering around. It was really fucking infuriating because it just my powers were my special right bumper ability was a front kick that sent whatever it was that I kicked fucking flying. Obviously, it didn't work on the Tyrant, but for basic zombies, brilliant. And then he had a secondary special that charged up with both bumpers, which was like a primal scream, which was essentially just a massive debuff to
Yeah.
all of the surrounding zombies.
Nice.
Which brilliant if the other people around you were actually useful.
Hmm.
There was a point where we were about to go into overtime, and the person who had the ability to extend overtime didn't do the thing that they were supposed to do. And the healer actually has the ability to revive all downed teammates in one go without even needing to be near them. And did he do that? Did he fuck? It's like
Nice.
we had all of these opportunities. We probably could have won if they'd actually done the things that would have made sense to do at the times, but instead they decided to just go start smacking zombies instead of trying to complete objectives. Because douchebags.
Yes.
Could be fun. Could be an interesting thing to play if we've got the right enough people playing it that know what they're doing and actually have an appreciation for Resident Evil, which is 6 people in the world.
Yep.
I think that the Predator Hunting Grounds will probably be a bit more successful.
Cool.
I think it will be more successful in the long runs because it's an IP that people can get behind. It's a Predator game. People will want to play it to play Predator, and people will want to play it with their friends to go after Predator, for lack of a better way of explaining it, versus a Resident Evil IP on a game that isn't really a Resident Evil game, despite the fact the only thing it's got in its advantage is that it's got Resident Evil characters that we've seen in the Tyrant.
Yeah, so I don't think Resident Evil needs an asymmetrical multiplayer game. Same as it didn't need a co-op focused squad shooter in Operation Raccoon City. That's not what Resident Evil is about. It's just not. Resident Evil's a horror franchise. If you're not going to make it scary, don't fucking bother.
Raccoon City was terrible.
It was fucking awful.
It was
It was a video game equivalent of pushing anal beads up my urethra.
You know what? Raccoon City could have been really fucking good if it was more than 6 missions long.
Yes. And fun.
Yeah. Okay, it wasn't not fun. But the fact that it was set during Resident Evil 2, but had the story length of one section of Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure you could complete the entire game in the time it takes to get out of the police station in Resident Evil 2.
Yes.
Which is not a good time frame to be able to complete an entire game.
No, it's not.
They could easily make a Resident Evil squad shooter like Operation Raccoon City, where you literally just play through the entirety of all of the Resident Evil games as the special forces characters that always end up fucking dying before the main characters finish their mission. So, what was it? Alpha Team and Bravo Team from Resident Evil 5. That literally Alpha Team gets killed during the first chapter, and Bravo Team get killed off before the end of the third chapter.
Yeah.
So, like, a squad shooter in the Resident Evil universe could work. It just needs to be, well, longer than a 3-hour campaign.
Yeah.
But then it just becomes typical squad zombie shooter. And again, not a horror game.
We got World War Z for that now.
Yeah. Well, State of Decay kind of works.
Yeah.
Well, it's not so much a squad shooter, obviously, but yeah, survival horror multiplayer games are possible. You lose a lot of the horror element when you've got people to play with. Like, the Resident Evil 5 and 6 aren't even remotely scary.
No.
Because of the only thing scary about Resident Evil 5 is when you're playing on the hardest difficulty and you've got Josh with you with a fucking RPG. because that is fucking terrifying. Because you will get grabbed by a zombie, and all of a sudden you've got a rocket hitting you in the face
Yeah.
because he forgot to change to the other gun. But that's neither here nor there. So, what about the rest of Exo 19?
No, I enjoyed it. Like I say, it was a good couple of hours just wandering around, playing some games, talking to some people. Yeah, I quite like talking to people that hang around on game booths, and you don't get a chance to do that really at EGX because it's so fucking busy.
It's so busy at EGX, and the fact that most of the people on those game booths really don't want to be there
No.
because they're literally just being paid. They went to university to get their media degrees to become community managers on Twitter, not sit in a booth and have nerds leering at their bottoms.
Yeah. But no, I enjoyed it. I did. It was good. Good after. It was a good morning.
Yeah. And you had that great chat with that guy who just happened to notice your shirt.
That was quite funny.
Guy on the Doom thing.
Yeah.
Doom. And he was a big Simon Miller fan as well.
Yeah, big Simon Miller fan, and we started talking about Jim Trinker and Burns from Video Gamer as well.
Yep. He said he was going to say hi to them for you.
Which was absolutely mental.
Yep.
But yeah,
So-
that was kind of cool.
Now I'm just trying to think of this large guy saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, I bumped into a guy. He had long hair and a beard. He was pretty tall. Said hi, by the way."
Jim Trinker's never met me ever before in his life.
Yeah. Jim Trigger's going to literally just look at this guy and go, "All right.
Yeah.
Did you get his name?" "Oh no, I didn't get that." It's like he had long hair, a beard, was wearing a Doom t-shirt, was with a guy who was wearing a Simon Miller t-shirt who'd never played Doom before.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, is that us done, do you reckon?
I think that's us done.
Cool.
Play after party.
Yeah, with the after parties on Game Pass. Why the fuck wouldn't you play it? It is a lot of fun. It is a video game where you have to beat Satan in a drinking game.
What more could you want in life?
It is really fun. I really liked After Party. I've got to
Yeah.
write a review for it at some point, actually. I promised guys at Jump Cut I'd review it.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things I've got to write, and I'm struggling to
To want to write.
find the inclination to write at the moment. So.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there.
That sounds like a not my problem.
Yeah. Until next time, mate. Where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter as the John_CU and on Xbox Live as Long Dong Silver. Also, when it arrives on Stadia with my whatever the Stadia account I end up with, because they haven't let me choose what I'm going to have until the Stadia arrives for some reason.
Well, I thought they were going to send you like a
Access thing. Yeah,
a welcome
so did I.
code thing.
That's what I was expecting.
I'm so fucking glad I cancelled my pre-order. It just seems like such a clusterfuck at the moment.
Well, the thing is, they sent out an apology about them because they sent them to people who weren't on the list for initial like founder releases.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Be interesting to see if I get my access stuff, because by the time I get it, someone's gonna have to probably take on whatever I decide to be my fucking gamer tag. Not that there's going to be that many people playing Stadia, and not that I'll play for Stadia for anything but Football Manager. And I will probably, you know what, if the Stadia ends up having, because it's just a Chromecast.
Yeah.
If xCloud can go to Chromecast, and with their current standpoint of any Bluetooth controller can connect up to xCloud, including the new Sony DualShocks, being Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Combine the relatively cheap-looking but surprisingly comfortable Stadia controller, the Stadia, the Chromecast itself, xCloud for that. That's me almost sorted for whatever next generation happens to be of me plugging in, walking around with a Chromecast, and a Stadia controller, pairing it up, and then being able to play whatever games I have on either Stadia or on xCloud with my Game Pass Ultimate until 2021, plus the 1 month code I also got from XO19.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me saying goodbye to people and telling people where I'm from is moving on to xCloud could be a very good thing with Stadia. What about you, Brooks?
I am, as always, I'm on Twitter. I'm at Brooker411, and we, as a podcast, are at Character Unlock on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. And yeah, hopefully between now and the next couple of weeks, or now in the next episode, something actually newsworthy will happen, or your Stadia will arrive, and we can spend a couple of hours talking about that.
I'll even let you borrow it possibly because it's literally a controller and a Chromecast. I'm pretty sure I could bring that into work and just hand it to you in the car park.
I was going to say, yeah, probably in the car park. Cool. We will definitely talk about that. Right, so I think then, mate, this is a perfect time for us to say goodbye.
Yes, I agree.
All right, so say goodbye to the lovely people, John.
Goodbye to everyone who isn't Lee.
Wow. Thanks for listening, everybody. Lee included. Bye.
Bye.